And welcome to HS Game Time Live. It's already week 6 of the high school football season, and most teams are now in league play, and we've got some great highlights coming your way, plus all the scores from week 6 of the high school football season, and we had some huge matchups right out of the gate in league play. And we're going to go right to the scoreboards first, and we'll start with the Big 8 League because there was a couple huge contests. We will have highlights of Centennial knocking off Norco, 43-25 the final score. The Huskies getting a big effort from Trey Watson, beats by Trey. Chris Erkley will have the highlights as Centennial defeats Norco 43-25. Also in the Big 8 League tonight, Santiago and Roosevelt in a battle. We knew it would be high scoring, and the Sharks win this one 38-25. We do have some second half highlights, but unfortunately, the Sharks already had this one in control at the half. Blake Barnett, from what we heard, was knocked out of the game, possibly because of concussion. We're still trying to get details on that, but Chris Erkley will join us. He was at the game tonight as Santiago defeats Roosevelt. And one more score from the Big 8. King remains undefeated on the season. The Wolves improved to 6-0 with a win against Corona, 21-17. The final. So those are your Big 8 scores. And as we mentioned, Chris Erkley was at a couple of those Big 8 League games. He bounced around the city of Corona and got some video highlights, so he will join us in just a little bit to bring you that video action. Now let's go to the Southwestern League, and the big one in this one was Great Oak and Murrieta Valley. And check out that score. The Wolfpack wins by 1, 28-27 the final score. A great game here. We will have some first half highlights. Our guy Adam Drexler was at the game. When he left, it was 14-14. We knew it would be close, and Great Oak pulls out the victory, 28-27 the final. Also in the Southwestern League tonight, a couple more scores to pass along. Chaparral 31-22 against Murrieta Mesa. So the Pumas kick off Southwestern League play with a big win. And you got to give it to the Rams, though. They hung tough with a very good Chaparral team, 31-22 the final score. And one more from the Southwestern League, Vista Murrieta and Temecula Valley. And the Broncos having no trouble with the Golden Bears in this one. Final score of 60-18. All right, so that's the Southwestern League. Down in the Sun Belt League, they also kicked off league action tonight in week number 6. And the big game out of the gate in the Sun Belt was Paloma Valley taking on Elsinore. So let's run down those scores quickly. Paloma Valley, 35-29. They get the victory over the Tigers. So Paloma Valley now improves to 6-0 on the season. Adam Drexler was at the game. He will bring the highlights a little bit later in the show, so stick around for that. Heritage, no trouble with Paris, 56-3. And from what I understand, Paris had the opening field goal, so it must be 56 unanswered for Heritage. We will have video highlights of this one likely in the Saturday show, so stick around for that. And Temescal Canyon beating Lakeside 35-7. I got an email this week from a Temescal Canyon parent saying, we don't give enough love to the Titans. Well, hey, the Titans got the job done, 35-7. They defeat Lakeside tonight. All right, and also let's go to the Mountain Pass League scores. A couple of those to pass along. Tuckwitz and Hemet, and the Titans flexing their muscles against the Bulldogs, 36-0. Tuckwitz takes care of their in-town rival Hemet. Citrus Hill 38-14 over San Jacinto, so the Hawks continue their dominance in the Mountain Pass League. Another solid win for Eric Zomalt and the Hawks. And one more from the Mountain Pass, and that would be West Valley and Beaumont. The Cougars and Perry Jones out there, 34-21. They get to win against West Valley tonight in the Mountain Pass. All right, so those are some of the scores we're bringing you. And now it's time to get to the highlights. We start in the River Valley League, where Norta Vista took on Ramona. If you remember, Novi is the defending champion in the River Valley League. It was its inaugural season last year, so the Braves looking to get back onto the winning track and see if they can repeat in the River Valley. Let's roll those highlights from Ramona Stadium. Rams head coach Damon Dustin looking to knock off Novi. Here come the Rams. Could they do it? Novi, the perennial favorite, I guess you could say, in this league once again. First play from scrimmage, Freddie Hawley breaks off a 44-yard run. Now remember, Hawley played Ramona last season, transferred transferred to Novi, and that was his first game with the Braves after sitting out. Now Novi got the to the big fella, Andrew Martinez. Strong run there. He did the work. Time to get paid. Martinez cashes in with touchdown, and Novi goes up 14-zip in the first quarter. Ramona playing a little change-up at quarterback. Chris Kilgore doing the Wildcat. Nice run here by Kilgore for the Rams. They also play their starter, Damon Mays, the big pocket passer. He finds his bro, Byron Mays, but Ramona did not get any points on that drive. Now it's Novi going to the end zone, but Henry Batista comes down with it for Ramona. Nice defensive play there by the Rams, but could they keep Novi out of the end zone here? Well, Freddie Hawley continued his big night on the ground. He racked up more than 200 yards in the first half alone. Big run there. That would set up this. DeAndre Castanon, get in there. Touchdown, makes it 21-zip in the second quarter. The Rams pulling back. Kilgore to Batista. The nice gain here to about the 10-yard line, and then it's Mays handing off to Kilgore. Will scamper into the paint to make it 21-7. Novi still on top. The Braves would answer with a heavy dose of the ground game. The big here run by Freddie Hawley. Hawley rips off another big run. As we mentioned, he had a huge night, and later on that same drive, Hawley would strike again, and check out this touchdown run to the paint. Making guys miss, gets to the outside and shakes off a tackle, and 2 and 3 and into the paint. Norta Vista goes on to win by a final score of 48-7. So nice win there for Norta Vista to kick off River Valley League action. Also from the River Valley, Moreno Valley against Jurupa Valley. If you remember back to Wednesday on the Blitz, we had the Jaguars on the show, and they agreed. It's a brand new season. You start River Valley League action, everyone's 0-0 as you head into league play. Let's see what Joe Garez and Jurupa Valley could do against MoVal. Let's roll those highlights, Angel, as the Jaguars were taking on the Vikings. And Ja, that's the Vikings, right? That's Moreno Valley doing the haka. Getting all fired up for this one for their league open. There he is. There's Ja. That's great. Whoa, looks like we got a fumble on the play, and MoVal scoops it up. That looks like Edward Ward. Does that sound right, Ja? Goes in for the touchdown. No, it's Joshua Diaz returning for the touchdown. That makes it 7-zip Moreno Valley. Then it's George Camacho. He spells it Jorge, but they call him George. Big run there for Jurupa Valley. And then Camacho doing it again. He's going to take this one all the way to the house. And Camacho, they call him Macho Camacho. Get it? Like the boxer, remember? That's his nickname. It's 7-7. And Jurupa Valley, Supa Dupa Jurupa Valley ties it up. They get the 2-point conversion. It's Edward Ward there. So they took the lead 8-7 on Moreno Valley. Then it's Sean Damon Moore, right? Ja? All right. He runs the ball there for Moreno Valley, and more Moreno Valley action. Joseph Kinney going in for the score. It's Camacho here, though. Let's see. There he goes. There he goes. He's going in for the score. And that was Camacho, right? No, that was Kinney. Ja, you got me all messed up here. There's Camacho. Bad fumble, and the ball's on the ground. Moreno Valley recovers, and it's going to be Amos Murphy going in for the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. MoVal goes up 21-8, and they go on to defeat Jurupa Valley by a final score of 43-15. So a nice win there for Moreno Valley against Jurupa Valley. Now let's go to the River Valley League scores tonight and tell you how the rest of the league fared. There was 2 of the 3 games. And Norta Vista over Ramona, you just saw it, 48-7. So the Braves opened their league title defense with a solid win. Also tonight from the River Valley, Moreno Valley and Jurupa Valley, 43-15, the final score. And that's Inland Valley. We'll get to that in just a second. In fact, those highlights are just coming up. So let's come back here live in the studio. North taking on Canyon Springs in the Inland Valley League. Homecoming at North. Could they get a win against a Cougars team who's had a great start to the season? All right, let's roll those highlights from North's beautiful brand new stadium out there. Quarterback Joseph Garcia and the head coach John Rice talking things over. They don't want to lose on homecoming, right? You got to win. Hey, some of the Rancho Verde guys were at the game. They did not play week, so they were checking out maybe some of the competition that they'll see in the coming weeks. Early on in this one, it's Jesus Noriega and Nick Como stuffing the run for Canyon Springs. Then more of the same from the Canyon Springs defense. Garcia on the run. Quincy Wilson tracks him down, and he has the sack. North forced the punt, but the Cougars would give the ball right back. Robert Sanchez, the man at the right spot, and he recovers for JW North. The Huskies looking to pad their lead before the break. Garcia calls his own number, and he's got the big gain. The Huskies marching downfield. That would lead to this. Darius Thomas, the touchdown run. North pushes its lead to 21-6. The Huskies defense looking to keep it that way on homecoming. Aaron Owens, the nice tackle for North here, stopping them for a loss. But Canyon Springs still cranking up that offense with about a minute to play in the first half. Quarterback Cody Cervantes lets it fly to Como. Nearly ran me over. Great catch by Como. But North's defense would step up and turn the Cougars away from the 10-yard line. That would keep a 21-6 game at the half, and North goes on to win by a final score of 36-20. All right, Chris Erkley standing by. But first, those Inland Valley League scores from tonight. Now, there was an Inland Valley League game last night, so we only have 2 scores from tonight. So let's go to those 2 scores from the Inland Valley League. North 36-20 over Canyon Springs, so they get the nice win there. And then one other Inland Valley League. Do we have that one? Valley View and Vista Del Lago. From what I heard, it was homecoming for the Ravens, and they lose 42-10. So the Eagles with a nice Inland Valley League victory on the road at VDL. So, in fact, someone had emailed, I believe, the Press Enterprise, and they said, hey, we want Pep to come out for Vista Del Lago homecoming and check us out. I wanted to, but maybe they're glad I didn't tonight because it was a tough loss to Valley View, 42-10, the final score. So that's your Inland Valley League. A little bit later in the show, we will have more from the Inland Valley League as Riverside Poly took on Arlington in a Thursday night special, and it was low scoring. It was a battle, and we've got some great highlights as Poly built an early lead. Actually, Arlington scored first, but Poly came back to take a lead, and their defense would make it stand up in the end as they held on for a close victory. That was on Thursday night, so a little bit later in the show, we will have Riverside Poly taking on Arlington. That was the third and final Inland Valley League game this week. But without further ado, from the land of the Big Eight, we have Chris Erkley.
Quick question. Appearance fee these days for you, that's at least $1,000, isn't it?
Well, I'd say 4 figures about covers it. So sometimes I can go on a nice. I can give coupons out.
Oh, coupons.
I got coupons.
Discount coupons, yes.
Yeah, 2 for 1. 50% off if you spend.
Well, you throw in Javier with the coupon. He's your sidekick.
Quick, punch up Javier real quick. Jav, you really confused me on those Moval highlights in Harupa Valley, but that's okay.
He was probably too busy texting when he was writing out the shot sheet or
Eating
something.
pizza, listening to the Killers back there.
Talking about the Dodgers losing, Yeah, the Dodgers losing. He takes the hat off. The definition of a bandwagon.
Yeah,
bandwagon fan.
I didn't know he liked baseball until today, but anyways.
Javier Bandwagon Cabrera. That's how they do it out there in Fontana. That's what I heard.
He also went to Harupa Valley. Like it was, he was going back home in a weird kind of way.
See, he can't even stay at one school. He's such a bandwagon. He's got to hop around.
But enough about Ja Rule. So the Big Eight, some great games.
The Big Eight, we had some big games tonight. We had Centennial and Norco. We had Santiago and Roosevelt. Of course, the million-dollar question. Now, Centennial was defeated by Alemany, but then last week we saw Norco beat up on Alemany, which means exactly what we don't know because my new policy, when it involves kids age 16 to 18, throw logic out the window. You don't know what's going to happen. Let's roll out there to Centennial and Norco out there. Pink, Pep's favorite color.
It is.
Out there tonight, they're waving the pink flags all around for breast cancer awareness. How about a guy who's aware of the importance of the running game? That's Trey Watson running here for 25 yards. Then how about more of the same variety? Another 25-yard run from Watson. That one's worth a touchdown, 8-0. Centennial on top early. Then once again, how about a little appearance from the Centennial defense? Not always their bread and butter, but tonight they would step up in the first half. Then back to the lecture at hand. Trey Watson running like Paul Revere telling the colony the British are coming. This time a 50-yard run. Doubling it up from 25 to 50, cranking up the MPH. Then his old friend to begin the second half, old Bobby Weber. He caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't quite press record in time for the snap. But hey, I got it running across the goal line. That's all that matters, right, Pep? Then Norco. trying to make something happen right here. Matthew Williams with the quick catch and run all the way down to the 1-yard line. Norco trying to get in the mix mid-second quarter. His pal Victor Veramontes, the quarterback for Norco, goes with the keeper for the 1-yard touchdown run, 22-6. But then more havoc from the defensive line of Centennial. Another sack for them. Big-time pressure by the Centennial defense on the Norco offensive attack today. Then Weber going to Javon McKinley down to the doorstep. Then Trey Watson, almost 300 yards rushing tonight, 3 touchdowns. Here's another from him. They would be up 29-6 at halftime. Norco making things interesting in the second half, shaking things up a little bit. But Centennial hangs on for the win. Always a rivalry game out there. Centennial, though, 43-25, the win tonight. Centennial, they still don't have the C's on the helmet, though, Pep.
Got to earn those back.
They haven't earned them yet. They've won, 3 games since they got those taken off?
2 or 3, right?
2 or 3. Well, they beat, what was that, Carson?
Yeah.
Then they had an off week last week, right?
I don't know.
Did they play?
Let's see. Math, and then, well, you're the history buff, so I'm not good at history or math. But wait, was Paul Revere the guy who said, "Don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes"? Does that sound right?
I don't remember. All I remember is he said the British are coming.
The British are coming.
1775. That's what I dropped. I told you last week I'd take it to the 1700s.
Man, so next week
I dropped you a 1775. Next week we got to go 1600s. I don't really know what happened in the 1600s.
That's pre-birth of this country.
Pre-America.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to go over to Europe or something.
Ponce de Leon, maybe like those early conquistadors or something like that.
We are.
Hey, Chris, while we got here, let's take a look at the HS Game Time Top 10 because, as you mentioned, Norco beat Alamany last week, and everyone got excited about the Cougars, and for good reason. So they climbed up into our HS Game Time Top 10 all the way to number 5. Vista Murrieta, number 1. You saw the score already. They won big tonight, Centennial. Murrieta Valley losing. You saw the score. We'll have those highlights in just a moment. Yes. Roosevelt lost. Norco lost. Rancho Verde had the night off. Great Oak won, beating Murrieta Valley. Heritage won against Paris. Paloma Valley beat Elsinore, and San G had a big win against Rialto. So that's our top 10. It'll change drastically next week. So I figure Santiago will crack the top 10, which...
That's a team, Santiago, I've been voting for them in the top 10, but no one else has, so they haven't cracked into the top 10 recently.
I wanted to. I just wanted to see them have a little better record.
I'm not going to name names. We're going to leave it anonymous. Pep wanted to, but they didn't quite
Besides
get
me,
there,
everyone else is anonymous.
Anyway, Roosevelt, Santiago got there in the second half. That was the second part of my double dip, right up Rimpaw.
And the second half was great, wasn't it?
Second half. Man, I got burned again. Roll the dice again, and what do we get? We get 3. We get a measly field goal from.
See, we want to have a big umbrella of our coverage. So the more games we get to, the more video we get, the better it is. And sometimes we have to roll the dice and take a gamble. And today, we thought Roosevelt Santiago would be close, right? I mean, that's
well, it was fairly close for most of the game.
We thought it could go down to the fourth quarter, and we wanted to be there and get the finish because it was going to be a close game, but it wasn't.
I think that's why they don't bet high school in Vegas, because it's so unpredictable. They wouldn't even know how to put a betting line down.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyways, enough talk. Let's roll out to the highlights out there. Blake Barnett, concussion in the first half. He would just be laughing it up. The fellas in the second half have to sit out the game. But the Santiago, Roosevelt rather, would go with the onside kick and then pound in the short yardage score, 35-25. Then, just like David and Goliath, big things come in small packages for Santiago. Joey Camarillo filling in the void, 42 carries, 234 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Not there, though. That's a Jake Roberts 36-yard field goal set up by Camarillo. Sharks lead 38-25. Then how about the Shark D? Just like Sharks looking for blood in the water, they're on the attack. But Roosevelt trying to make things interesting when Santiago's trying to put the game away with just about 3 minutes remaining. And it would be off to the races for Marcus Williams from Roosevelt. Roosevelt trying to make things happen, but Santiago says, hey, let us return the favor. Putting the ice on the game. The Sharks would be celebrating from there with the interception with just about 2 minutes remaining in the game. That would put things on ice as Santiago wins 38-25. Didn't get to show you a lot of that offense from Santiago, because all the action
still some
in the
good
first
highlights.
Half, still some good action, a couple picks. Everyone was generous. They were tossing around the ball. Hey, you get a chance, I get a chance, equal opportunity.
We love to give the defense and the kicking game as well.
Yeah, the
Some
kicking
love.
game, a little love. Not often you get to see a nice field goal of the 35-plus variety, so
That's what we
always
needed.
a nice shout-out. The young fella out there at Chaparral, though, I'm waiting for him to service up a 60-yarder.
Well, let's do it, and we'll put it on the show. All right, Chris will be joining us again later in the show. We'll also have Kyle Glazer, who was at the Norco Centennial game, to shed a little more light on that big game between the Cougars and the Huskies. All right, now let's go to the Southwestern League. Let's roll those highlights. Great Oak taking on Murrieta Valley. And this was a big-time battle, the premier game out of the Southwestern League. And first quarter opening drive, Nick Fisher takes it in for Great Oak, and they led 7-zip. Then later, it's Murrieta Valley quarterback Preston Miller heaves it 30 yards to Aaron Young to about the 10-yard line. Later on that drive, Jordan Silva goes in on the TD leap, 7-7. We're all tied up. Second quarter, it's Fisher reeling in another touchdown, and Great Oak's on top 14-7. We're lighting it up out there, right, Drex? Yeah. And then later in the second, Great Oak, Murrieta Valley's Michael Robles, one of the top running backs in the area, 35 yards the hard way. Look at that. Won't go down until he gets inside the 20. And then Preston Miller, 19 yards to Hobie Teets, 14-14. It was tied. This game would go all the way down to the wire, and Great Oak is a winner. 28-27, the final score. So Great Oak improves to 1-0 in the Southwestern League. And that matchup with Vista Murrieta is shaping up to be a great one if Great Oak can get past the other Southwestern League teams that are coming up for them. All right, now to the Sun Belt League. You saw the score. Elsinore and Paloma Valley were in another close one. And we've got the highlights as Paloma Valley remains undefeated on the season. Let's roll those highlights. PV at home for the Tigers. Early in this one, Brent Bohm, Bebo, 53 yards to R.J. Benz. And big gain there. Next play, Bohm, I should just call him Bebo, 33 yards to Philip Hauser. Hauls it in right at the doorstep. And that would set up this. DeMarco Pruitt. You can do it! 3 yards in. He can. Pruitt can do it. 3 yards on the touchdown run. Paloma Valley led 35-17. Elsinore not giving up. Quarterback Tommy Wilson, 25 yards to Chris Harris. And then it's David Peralta later on that drive. Punches in the touchdown. The PAT no good, 35-23. Wildcats still on top. Ensuing kickoff. Paloma Valley's Felix Bogroff would fumble here, and it would be recovered by Elsinore. So the Tigers are back in business. Tommy Wilson wears number 22 on his jersey, number 1 in your hearts. 20 yards to Chris Harris, and Elsinore's back in this, 35-29. Fourth quarter, though, Tommy Wilson scrambling, throws it, picked off by Fred Lundy. Welcome to Lundy Island out there at Paloma Valley. And then it's Jacob Guglielmana on the call. He would turn the ball over. Paloma Valley recovers, and that would seal the deal. Paloma Valley defeats Elsinore by a final score of 35-29. So a quality win for Paloma Valley. And I know on October I believe it's 25th, they've got the Menifee Bowl against Heritage, and that'll be a great game. All right, now moving on, we're going on to the Mountain Valley League. Citrus Valley and Jurupa Hills, league rivals and also playoff rivals. These teams met last year in the playoffs as well, so a lot of history between these two schools, and two schools that you have to figure will be in the mix for a league title when it's all said and done. Let's roll those highlights from Jurupa Hills. They rolled out the red carpet for our guy, Ja Rule over here, Javier Cabrera. Cam Newton. I remember those play calling signs. The bling, you see the earrings? So maybe that was the play call right there. That's Daniel Narvaez. Catches the ball right in front of Ja Rule. And then later, it's DJ Wright. Turning out Corday Roberts in for the touchdown. And Jurupa Hills led 16-7. Later in the second quarter, Citrus Valley back to punt. And the Spartans get a safety on this one. So they led 18-7 at the half. Now to the third quarter. It's Jurupa Hills back on offense. DJ Wright dropping back, airs it out, and Citrus Valley knocks it down. And then more Jurupa Hills action. Looking for the end zone. Nothing. And then Citrus Valley now with the ball. That's Omari Montgomery. And he's got a big run here. And Javier put on the shot sheet. Runs. Hashtag runs. All the way in for the touchdown. That makes it 18-14. The Blackhawks closing the gap. And then finally, DJ Wright hands the ball off. And is he going to go all the way in for the score? Because you know what Ja wrote? Here, let's see. We'll pull up Ja in a second. There's DJ Wright rolling out. He's going to nearly get to the pylon. And finally, they're going to go in for the touchdown. Here's what he. Here, you can come back here live in the studio. Well, let's tell you, Harupa Hills won by a final. They beat. Where's that score at? Harupa Hills. You didn't have the final score here. It was 25-14, wasn't it? I think it was 25-14. Harupa Hills won. Here's. Can you see this? Ja wrote, "Someone scores." I don't know if you can read that. His chicken scratch over here. So thanks, Ja, for helping me out on that one. Somebody scores. Thanks. So, but Harupa Hills won 25-14. I'm just busting your chops. All right, and now moving on. Bloomington and Grand Terrace from the Sunkist League. Homecoming at Grand Terrace. Actually, it wasn't homecoming. They call it up-and-coming night because they don't have any seniors yet. Well, it's their first senior class. So next year, their senior class will be able to come back for the first ever homecoming at Grand Terrace. So it's called the up-and-coming night. Is that confusing to anybody else? Let's roll the highlights from Grand Terrace High School. And Big Joe Valadez and the Titans taking on Bloomington. Hey, there's Derek Jones, the quarterback for Bloomington. Talked to him last week. Tonight he told me he has a herniated disc. He's out for the season. He's trying to rest up and get ready for football. There's his wrestling. There's his replacement for Bloomington, Salvador Munoz, the big run across midfield. Bloomington, though, will turn the ball over. The Titans force the fumble. Cameron Alvarez recovers for Grand Terrace. Now it's the Titans with the ball. Saul Ramirez in on the stop for Bloomington. So the Bruins are back in business on offense. Munoz to Marcus Jones. The ball is tipped, but Jones stays with it for the touchdown. The Bruins are on the board first, 8-0 after the 2-point conversion. So they led at Grand Terrace. Well, the Titans would waste little time to answer. Quarterback Ralph Mohammed airs it out to Cruz Duke. The pass is on the money. Straight cash, homie. The Titans would tie the game at 8 after they convert on the 2 points. On the ensuing kickoff, Grand Terrace would recover. Alvaro Torres. Is that right? Alvaro? Yeah, Alvaro Torres covers for GT. The Titans take over and they put this drive in cruise control. Cruz Duke. Big run here. Valadez in the crew up front, paving the way for Duke tonight. That sets up another Cruz Duke touchdown. And Grand Terrace goes on to win by a final score of 44-30. So Grand Terrace won on not homecoming, up and coming night out there at Grand Terrace. All right, so those are some of the scores and highlights from Week 6 of the high school football season. On Friday night, on Thursday night, though, we had a couple great games, 2 of them to be clear. Riverside Poly in Arlington, a close battle between 2 in-town rivals. And the big one from the River Valley League, La Sierra picking up its first win of the season as they got the job done at Patriot. So let's roll the video highlights from Thursday.
Eagles head coach Jeff Roney looking for his first win, and this really helps. Patriot turns the ball over on the backwards pass. Wendell Thompson scoops it up and takes it back to the house to put La Sierra on the scoreboard first, leading 6-0. The Warriors looking to bounce back and answer. Quarterback Brandon Pacheco airs it out to Jalen Burrell. The diving, one-handed, juggling catch. But the Eagles defense swoops in for the stop. Andreu Benny comes up with the interception for La Sierra, and then the long return after the INT. La Sierra would add to its lead when Jonathan, the real McCoy, punches in the score. La Sierra up 12-0. Patriot had a chance to get on the board when J.D. Hernandez breaks off this long run to the paint, but a personal foul behind the play brings it back. And it would prove to be costly as the Warriors turn the ball over and come away with no points. Edgar Plazola recovers for La Sierra. Fireworks for Patriots homecoming, but most of the fireworks in this one coming from La Sierra. Opening of the third quarter, and the Warriors turn the ball over again, and the Eagles would capitalize. Quarterback Derek Cruz to Benny for the score. La Sierra leading 18-0, and the homecoming crowd stunned. Then later in the third quarter, it's McCoy gets it cracking and finds the end zone for his second score of the game. The Eagles pulling away in this one. The Warriors would eventually get on the board in the final seconds of the third. J.D. Hernandez with one of his 3 touchdowns in the game, but all of them coming late in the contest. La Sierra gets one more when Cruz connects on this TD strike as the Eagles pick up their first win of the season, and that deserves a Gatorade and water bath. Roney and La Sierra open River Valley League play with a 40-21 win.
So we had a really tough preseason, and that's what we've been working towards this whole time, was building up for league play. And we got to get right back to work on Monday for Hoopa Valley.
I mean, it feels pretty good. Like, no one expected us to do anything this year, but I mean, we came out here, we executed, and we got the win. So I feel pretty good about it. Pretty confident going into the rest of our games this year. So
basically, we came out all pumped because you guys told us we were going to get 5th in league. No, that kind of took to the heart, but here we go. We're going to win. We won league.
Let's do this. Let's go to Ramona Stadium. The Lions on a modest 2-game winning streak, and Pauley looking to bounce back from their loss to the Rancho Verde in Inland Valley League action. First quarter, Arlington strikes first. The old gunslinger, Wyatt Moore, 50 yards to Lavelle Thomas, and Arlington goes up 6-zip. Now we move to the second quarter, and Pauley strikes back. Quarterback Chandler Drake-Slyn, 48 yards to Akili Ross, and the Bears go on top 7-6. Still in the second quarter, Ross does it again. Get in there! Ross goes in for the touchdown, and Pauley led 13-6 at the half. Pauley looking to pad its lead, but there's Lavelle Thomas coming up with another big play, the interception in the end zone. Now we fast forward to the fourth quarter. Arlington still clinging to life. Moore sacked by Ben Tualega, and that will do it. And Riverside Pauley hangs on for the victory, 13-6 the final.
So Riverside Pauley gets it done against their in-town rival Arlington, 13-6 final score. I'm on Twitter at SportsWithPep. Some people are hitting us up, and we were just talking about this as those highlights were playing about the West Valley Beaumont score. My good friend Robert Martinez said, "Yo, Pep, West Valley beat Beaumont 39-25. You guys said the freshman score for some reason. So West Valley beat Beaumont. So there you go, 39-25 the final score. And so if you got any other scores or comments, hit me up. We've got Twitter going on right now. All right, we've got a lot more scores and highlights coming up. But first, every Tuesday and Thursday, I go on KCAL with Stu, Tiffany, and Jimbo. In the mornings at about 8:30, we talk high school football, local sports headlines, as well as national headlines. So a lot of Dodgers and Lakers talk along with high school football. We always drop some high school football in there as well. And Jimbo is a self-proclaimed high school football star from the Midwest, but he tells us in this latest installment that his junior season, he didn't play so much. So here's how he occupied his time on the sidelines. Here's Jimbo from KCAL 96.7. All right, Jimbo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't all be the star player, right, or all seniors. What about these guys who are backups to the starters? I mean, give them some inspirational words to hold out some hope and get some playing time.
Okay, well, I tell you what, junior year, I was on the varsity team, and the coach didn't play a lot of juniors. It was mostly seniors. In a lot of cases, you can understand that. And there'd be some times we weren't that good, I got to be honest. But you got to keep your focus, and you got to show your support. But sometimes our team was so bad that it was hard to be really supportive of a sucky team that we were on. So every now and then, me and my buddy Paul O'Dwyer, just to scream something, we would just scream nursery rhymes during the game, so the coach would just hear this noise and think we were supportive. So we'd be like, "Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock, come on, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, let's do this, guys, come on." It can be tough, but hang in there, show support. If you really can't show support, just be loud and scream. And that's my advice to you guys.
There's your boy Jimbo from KCAL Rocks 96.7 FM every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 in the morning. We'll talk high school football and your local national sports headlines. All right, big shout out to Matt Palmer at Heritage High School. He's sending us some video as the Patriots defeated Paris tonight 56-3. So Matt, if we can't get those on the show tonight, definitely in the Saturday scouting report. So we'll get some Heritage action for you. All right, now moving on in HS Game Time Live tonight. we move to the Citrus Belt League, where Redlands East Valley was at home for Cajon. Well, as home as the Wildcats could be. They played at Citrus Valley High School because they don't have their own stadium. All right, let's roll those highlights. Angel Rev taking on Cajon. There's the score. We got the highlights. The Rev highlights, they're coming up right now. We've got some great scores, too. A score that might shock you tonight from the Citrus Belt League, so stay tuned for that. Early on, that is Malik Lovett taking that catch all the way down the sideline and in for the Redlands East Valley touchdown. And then later, Cajon would answer. That would be the Cowboys' number 7. Let's see, I got his name right here. Gavin Westover. He goes in for a Cajon touchdown. So the Cowboys battling the Wildcats in this one. Then it's Alonzo Anderson. Gets loose for Rev, and he takes this one in for the touchdown. A shootout early on with the Cowboys. Then Redlands East Valley looking to bottle up Malik Forte. He's not having it. How about that Cowboy? All the way across midfield, and he will go for the touchdown. Actually, they would take him down near the goal line, and they would eventually punch in a touchdown on that drive for Cajon. More Alonzo Anderson time. Shakes that guy off and goes in for the score. Another Wildcat touchdown. Now, freshman Armando Herrera making a start for Redlands East Valley at quarterback. That's another Cajon touchdown. But there's Herrera. Airs this one out to Lovett. You got to love it. He goes in for the touchdown. Redlands East Valley led by their freshman quarterback, Herrera, who's playing for Mark Nielsen, who injured his hand earlier this season. That was Anthony Grayson catching that touchdown pass from Herrera, as Redlands East Valley goes on to win 55-20. So Rev opening Citrus Belt League play with a huge victory. Now let's go to the Citrus Belt League scoreboard. 3 scores from the CBL tonight, and that Rev score leading the way 55-20. 55-21. So Redlands East Valley opening with a win against the Cowboys. Also tonight, Redlands and Eisenhower. Now, I had told head coach Jim Walker that if he grew his mustache back, the Terriers still had time to get some wins and turn their season around. And look what happened. He's growing the mustache back. Bang! They beat Eisenhower, defending co-champion from the Citrus Belt League. Terriers 15-14. Terriers quarterback Cody Whitaker just hit me up on Twitter. He said he needs some love for the Terriers tonight after that big win, 15-14. Cody, the quarterback for the Terriers, says the dogs are rolling. Nice win for Redlands with the, I guess you could say, mild upset against Ike. And then also from the CBL tonight, Yucaipa defeating Miller 42-6, the final score in that one. All right, we're going to get to the Big 8 League in just a second and talk to Kyle Glazer, who was at the Norco Centennial game tonight, and some interesting things happening there before the game actually took place. But first, let's make a quick stop in the Southwestern League, and the big one tonight was Great Oak taking on Murrieta Valley, a game that was decided by 1 point in the end. Angel, let's roll those highlights from Murrieta Valley High School. And here come the Wolfpack. There you got the big sign, too, and the tape. They run through it all. There's Nick Fisher, 4 yards out, goes in for the touchdown, and Great Oak jumps in front 7-0. But here comes the Nighthawks. Quarterback Preston Miller, 30 yards to Aaron Young, and that would lead to this. Jordan Silva from 1 yard out, and we're all even at 7 apiece. To the second quarter, Fisher reels in another touchdown from 15 yards away, and Great Oak is back on top 14-7. Murrieta Valley's running back, Michael Robles, one of the best in the area, going 35 yards the hard way. Nice run here by Robles, all the way down to inside the 20-yard line, so they're in the red zone. Preston Miller, 19 yards to Hobie Teets. He goes in for the score. It was knotted at 14 apiece at that point. Great Oak goes on to the victory, 28-27, the final score. Great game between the Nighthawks and the Wolfpack tonight in Week 6. Let's go to that Southwestern League scoreboard from tonight and get you up to speed on all the scores from the Southwestern League. There it is, the Wolfpack, a 1-point winner on the road, 28-27 against Murrieta Valley. So nice win there. Chaparral, 31-22 against Murrieta Mesa. You know, give some credit to the Rams hanging tough with the Pumas in this one, but Chaparral comes away with a 31-22 victory. And Vista Murrieta really no trouble against Temecula Valley, 60-18. The Broncos opening Southwestern League opening defense of their title with a big win against the Golden Bears. So that's the Southwestern League. Now we move to the Big 8 League, and we are joined in studio with the great Kyle Glazer, the Big Ticket KG, and Chris Erickley will join us again with the highlights in just a moment. But first, we're going to have Kyle break it all down. And I guess there was a big celebrity guest in the house at this one, right?
Sort of. USC head coach Ed Orgeron was at the game watching. Now, the way he arrived was definitely kind of cool. He arrived via helicopter. That's one way to beat the LA.
HS Game Time helicopter? Or his own?
We have a helicopter? Why can't I use it? No,
yeah.
it's. I guess that's one way to beat the traffic getting from LA to the Inland Empire on a Friday afternoon. Originally, he had requested to land on the 50-yard line. Coach Matt Logan said, no, we're not going to have that happen. Then he tried to land on the Corona Centennial High School baseball field, and the Corona PD nixed that. So he ended up landing at the helipad at Corona Community Hospital, then made his way over to the game and watched for the first half.
I want to see Orgeron land on the middle of the field right before kickoff and get off the helicopter and go up to Trey Watson or someone. Hey, I want to offer you a scholarship right here on the spot.
You know, Trey Watson's committed to Cal. There'd been some rumors that if USC came forth with an offer, he might consider it. Well, after running for 382 yards and 3 touchdowns tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Orgeron and James Craig, one of the assistants for USC, was there as well, handed Watson an offer.
If you want to just take a gander, who do you think they were looking at in, specifically? Watson, maybe?
Well, Austin Malawada, the Centennial defensive end, is already committed
yeah.
to USC, so they're probably checking it up on him. But you're talking about Centennial and Norco, two of the premier programs, not just in the Inland Empire, but really in the state. They're the 2 programs in the inland area that have sent the most kids to Division I schools in the past decade. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were looking at some of the kids already committed, maybe seeing if they can get some of them to budge, Barry Ware, Vian Talamavao, any of those guys, and maybe there's some other guys they're looking at too.
Well, Barry Ware's what, UCLA guy, right?
UCLA, yep. Talamavao is going to Alabama, but I know USC has offered him and is very interested in him. There's been some word they've been trying to get him off that commitment, so we'll see how it plays out. There's a lot of time between now and signing day in February, and USC coaches hitting the recruiting trail hard.
Yeah, and maybe players would rather play for Orgeron as opposed to the former Kiffin.
Only time will tell. Anytime there's a coaching change, especially mid-season, it can cause great disruption to recruiting. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Orgeron and Craig were there to both reassure Malawata that, hey, it's all good, you can stick with us, and maybe also try and convince some of the other kids, you know what, it's a new coaching staff, there's a new era coming at USC, maybe see if he can strike a chord with them. And
maybe impress them with the helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some pretty wild things in sports. I can't remember the last time I saw a college coach arrive at a high school football game via helicopter. That's a new one.
That's pretty awesome. All right, Kyle, let's go to the actual game, Norco against Centennial. Now, we talked about this on the Blitz, where you play that game where you have a common opponent, and you're like, well, they beat this guy, so obviously they're going to beat this other team. So Alamany was that common opponent. Centennial lost, Norco beat them. So going into this game, I mean, a lot of people figured Norco would at least hang with Centennial, maybe beat them, but Centennial still the favorite going into this.
Yeah, Centennial, obviously, they're a great team. They're always well prepared, and we saw them run out to a 29-6 halftime lead, and Norco just wasn't quite able to bounce back after that, although they were able to make it a game in the second half.
And Trey Watson, a big part of that, right, in the first half?
Yeah, so Trey Watson, 35 carries, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns was the final stat line. 282 of those yards came in the first half alone, busted off, I believe his 5 runs of 30-plus yards, also had a 37-yard reception. He ran wild tonight. The Centennial offensive line really got good push up front, and that's why it was 29-6 at halftime. Second half, things were a little different. Norco's sophomore quarterback, Victor Viramontes, ran for 3 touchdowns in the third quarter. He finished with 149 rushing yards to go with 158 passing yards and 4 total touchdowns. So led by Viramontes, Norco came back. They were down 29-6 at half. It was 36-25 going into the fourth. Norco had the ball. They were marching down the field toward the end. They had a chance to pull within 3 or 4 points. An interception at the end by Centennial more or less sealed it. Watson had a touchdown at the end to stretch the final score out. But, both teams have a lot to take away from in this one. Centennial got a great performance from the line, from Trey Watson. Their quarterback, Robert Weber, played well, victimized by some drops from his receivers. Norco, they could have laid down and died. Down 29-6, on the road, big crowd on TV. They showed a lot of pride. Anytime you have a sophomore quarterback coming up big like Viramontes did under those lights, that pressure, there's a lot to look forward to going forward for Norco. You could definitely see how they beat Alamany.
So positives on both sides, and the Cougars, even though they lost to Centennial, had a good showing. I guess you could say a good loss, if there is such a thing as a good loss.
I think there was definitely a fear. Once it was 29-6 that Centennial would run away with it and make it a really embarrassing score. We saw a 60-18 Vista Murrieta Temecula Valley score. There was a real fear that could have been what happened, but Norco, second half, buckled down. I mean, they won the second half on the scoreboard. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters, what the final score is. Centennial, though, they're looking good. They're looking crisp. The defense still has some holes, but the offensive line's playing well. Running game's working well. Wide receivers had some drops. Those are fixable. They talked about this a lot, that after those back-to-back losses, they're getting that confidence back. They also still don't have the C's on their helmets, and Coach Matt Logan said the nameplates will be off the back of the jerseys the rest of the year. Sort of that whole thing of we don't want them playing as individuals. They have to play as a team, and right now they're working well together as a team.
It's working. All right, if you need more Kyle Glazer in your life, you can see him on Mondays with Chris Erkley on the You Pick 'em contest, as well as the Blitz on Wednesdays with myself as we preview the week in high school football each time.
Thanks, Pat.
The big ticket, KG, Kyle Glazer. All right, let's go to the Big 8 scores real quick, and they're going to bring Chris Erkley on to break it down video highlight style. Centennial 43-25 over Norco. Kyle giving you the expert analysis and the Ed Ogeron vision. That's pretty cool. The visiting the game and trying to land on midfield. Santiago over Roosevelt, 38-25. The Sharks jumped out to a big lead in the first half, and they hang on against the Mustangs. And one more from the land of the Big 8. It would be Corona and King. And the Wolves improved to 6-0. Adam Drexler, the pride of King High School. Now, when you talk about famous alum, Adam Drexler tops the list. He's very happy tonight about his King Wolves. 21-17. He's the poster boy for King High School, and he's very excited as King goes to 6-0. Drex, will King go undefeated this season?
No, because they play Centennial next week.
They play Centennial next week? I didn't know that. That's tough.
If history recalls correctly, King last year was actually up 14-0.
You're right. At Centennial, wasn't it?
At Centennial. We almost thought
Drex, where's the faith, man?
It would have been the greatest win in Big 8 history. Is that a fair thing to say, Pat?
I would say so. I mean, that was the Centennial team last year that went all the way to the state championship game.
But then I think the final was about 45-14, so.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like the next 45 points or whatever was all
Centennial in the house.
Favor. Can you see Drex over there? Yeah, on the Drex
Kicking
cam.
back.
Look at him, casual. He looks like he's straight out of like a Brett Favre Wranglers commercial. Just laid it. He
wants to be Drew Brees. Sorry, ladies, he's taken. I know hearts are breaking across the IE right now, but he's off the market, nearly married. Triplets on the way, as a matter of fact. Congratulations to Drexler. He's got triplets on the way. Alicia, Ashley, and Adamina are their names.
Is that an old name you dug up from the 1600s?
Yes.
It was the number one name in the 1679.
It was. I think that was Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Anyways.
All right, so the land of the Big 8, Chris.
Land of the Big 8, Centennial.
Norco.
Ogeron's going P. Diddy, Jay-Z style, landing on the 50-yard line.
Man, when you're big time, you can do stuff like that.
Making statements. Yeah, USC, they got the Bills to throw around over there. They can make it rain, so they were landing that chopper in Crown Town tonight. Let's go out there to Crown Town. We got no chopper footage, but they're going pink for breast cancer awareness. As we said, Pep and Ring's favorite color. Let's not forget Ring's. Another guy with a ring is Trey Watson, busting off a 25-yard run right there. Then Trey Watson trotting into the end zone like Columbus rolling into America in 1492. His first touchdown of the night. More from him in a minute. How about that Centennial defense denying the run? Centennial D looking very strong in the first half. That would be a big part of the Centennial attack, taking that 29-6 lead. Another guy, as we mentioned his name already, that was a huge part of the attack tonight was Trey Watson here, going 50-yard run style. That was right at the end of the first quarter. Then flipping sides of the field, old Bobby Weber going in with the QB keeper, 22-0 Centennial at that point. Then Norco getting back in the mix with a little quick catch and grab and run by Matthew Williams, Pep's old pal right there. He's off to the races all the way down to the 1 yard line. Then Victor Veramontes, the guy who Kyle said played a huge part in the second half with 3 touchdowns. He'd have a touchdown right here on a little 1 yard run for the touchdown, 22-6 at that time. But the Centennial defense would have no more of it in the first half, continuing to put pressure on Veramontes. Then Centennial QB Weber all the way to Javon McKinley knocking on the doorstep. One more from beats by Trey Watson, almost 300 yards rushing tonight, 3 touchdowns. The Trojans, Pep, he's going to Berkeley right now, but you got to imagine the Trojans have got to be interested in that guy. 29-6 the halftime score, but then Norco made that late push. I wasn't there, though, because I dipped over to that Santiago Roosevelt game, which we'll get to in a minute. But as we said, 43-25 the final score. Centennial wins tonight, but the C's are still off the helmet. Apparently the names are off for the rest of the year.
For good, it sounds like, huh?
It's all business until maybe if they beat King, because as Drexler would say, that would be a signature win, beating King.
Keep
right?
the faith, Drex.
Keep the faith alive. He said he put his entire month's paycheck on King winning the game. What's the spread right now? Do we have one?
They don't bet in Vegas, man. I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
fair enough.
Another game that we don't bet, but we do the Pick'em show, and the tiebreaker on Pick'em this week was the Roosevelt-Santiago game, a game that people were torn on. I think the average predicted score was 32-30 in Santiago's favor. It wasn't
pretty close.
Wasn't quite that close tonight, but it would be close for most of the game if we can roll out there to Santiago, the other school residing on Rimpa. Santiago and Roosevelt. Blake Barnett leaving the game in the first half with a concussion, but he would still be smiles. We understand he was a little roughed up, though, after the game, but hopefully things are going well for him. Things are going well for Santiago defense in the second half, preserving that lead from Barnett. Then Joey Camarillo coming up big in Barnett's absence in the second half. 42 carries for him tonight, 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here he sets up Jake Roberts with the 36-yard field goal, 38-25 Santiago mid-third quarter. A lot of nice kickers out here in the IE this year, Pep. Maybe
just kicking it.
Just kicking it, yeah, OG style. Santiago D stepping up, but then Santiago would get bit trying to put the game on ice late in the fourth quarter. They get picked from Marcus Williams. He's trying to make a late push for Roosevelt, but Santiago would return the favor with Roosevelt trying to make a late push there with about 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Santiago with the pick by Ryan Ricard, and that would put the game away for the Sharks for good. They win 38-25, Pep. In a couple weeks, we've got Santiago, Centennial. I know in Drexler's mind, the pinnacle game for the Big Eight is King Centennial, but you got to think Santiago Centennial is what most are going to be talking about.
Yeah, Santiago and Norco, I think, is the final week of the season on a Thursday night. That could be a good game, too.
Good game as well.
But we shall see. All right, Chris, thanks for that Big 8 League update. And we've got a couple more highlights to get to before we close out the show tonight. Let's go to the Sun Belt League, the big one there, Paloma Valley and Elsinore. Let's roll those highlights from Paloma Valley High School in Menifee. Start with Bebo. Brent Boehm, the quarterback for Paloma Valley, 53 yards to R.J. Benz. Big gain here inside the Elsinore 40. And then it's Bebo going 33 yards on this one to Philip Hauser. He hauls it in near the doorstep. Next play, it's DeMarco Pruitt. And what do we say about Pruitt? Anybody? You can do it! Yeah, Pruitt goes in for the touchdown. The two-point conversion, no good, 35-17, Paloma Valley on top. But later in the third, Elsinore battles back. Tommy Wilson, 25 yards to Chris Harris. And that would set up this. Davis Peralta, 4 yards on the touchdown run. And Elsinore cuts into the Paloma Valley lead 35-23. Ensuing kickoff, Paloma Valley would fumble the ball and the Tigers would recover. So Elsinore back in business and ready to make this game close. Tommy Wilson, number 22 on his jersey, number 1 in your hearts, to Chris Harris for the touchdown. PAT no good, so it's 35-29. Wildcats still on top. Now to the fourth quarter. Wilson rolling out in his own end zone, throws it up, but Fred Lundy on Lundy Island comes down with the INT. Then Jacob Guglielmana for Elsinore coughs it up. It recovered by the Wildcats, and that would seal the deal for Paloma Valley as the Wildcats win 35-29, the final score. So Paloma Valley still rolling along on the season after that nice win. Here's the other scores from the Sun Belt League. Let's crank up the HS Game Time scoreboard. Heritage 56-3 against Paris. I've been told that several of the star players for Heritage did not play against Paris for disciplinary reasons. But Heritage still wins. We'll have highlights of this game tomorrow on the Saturday Scouting Report. Temescal Canyon had a parent email me and said, hey, you got to give the Titans more love. Well, they beat Lakeside 35-7, so a nice win for Temescal Canyon. And one more from the Sun Belt League tonight, and that would be, wasn't there one more from the talk? Okay, we can go back here. I thought there was one more from the Sun Belt League, but that's the Mountain Pass, and we'll get to that in just a second. That was the Elsinore one? Okay. Actually, let's go to the Mountain Pass scores. We can go right there. That's cool. We got Jav doing the scoreboards tonight. Is Jav on camera? Here. Let's give Jav just a little bit more love. Hold on. There he is. We'll get Angel on there, too. What are you doing? Oh, breast cancer awareness? Did you get at one of the games?
Yeah, Harupa Valley. They gave it to me.
Oh, Harupa Valley? Oh, cool. Super duper Harupa Valley. Mountain Pass scores. Tahquitz 36-0 against Hemet. So the Titans roll out with a big win in Mountain Pass League action. Citrus Hill, the defending longtime champ in this division, 38-14 over San Jacinto. Hopefully we'll have highlights of this one for the Saturday show. West Valley and Beaumont. Was that the right score? My buddy Robert Martinez hit me up on Twitter and said, it was 39-25, West Valley won. Is that what we had, 39-25? Okay, well, 39-25. Javier, take notes. Write that down, 39-25. And I want the square root of that in a minute, okay? So work on that. 39-25. And West Valley a winner over Beaumont tonight. And I think that was it for Mountain Pass scores. Is that right? All right, now we're going on to the River Valley League, the big one there. Norta Vista taking on Ramona, the Braves, the defending champion in this. So it's 39-25 West Valley. All right, let's go to those highlights. Angel at Ramona Stadium. The Rams hosting the Braves, who won the inaugural River Valley League championship last season. Rams head coach Damon Dustin and them trying to knock off Novi, probably the favorite to win the league again. But we saw La Sierra what they did last night at Patriot, so anything can happen. First play from scrimmage, though. Freddie Hawley, 44 yards on this touchdown run. Now, Hawley played at Ramona last season, but transferred to Novi, and tonight was his first game in Braves uniform. Now, Novi gives the rock to the big fella, Andrew Martinez. Strong run there. He did the work. Time to get paid. Keshes in with a touchdown, and Novi up 14-zip in the first quarter. Ramona playing a little switcheroo at quarterback. Chris Kilgore in for the Wildcat. Nice run by Kilgore here. And then the normal starter, Damon Mays, he finds his brother Byron Mays. Nice game there, but Ramona did not get any points on that drive. Now it's Novi going to the end zone, but Henry Batista coming down with the interception for Ramona. Later, though, Fred Hawley continuing his big night on the ground for the Braves, who racked up more than 200 yards in the first half alone. Big hit there on the end of that run, and that would set up this. DeAndre Castanon for the touchdown, 21-zip in the second quarter. The Rams looking to battle back. Kilgore can pass, too, to Batista for the nice gain. And then later on that same drive, Damon Mays hands it off to Kilgore, lines up as a running back, scampers into the paint. That makes it a 21-7 game. Novi still on top. The Braves would answer with a heavy dose on the ground game. It's Hawley ripping off another big run for Novi, and later on that drive, Hawley would strike again. And check out this touchdown run. A little shake and bake, hashtag sizzling bacon action, all the way into, do you guys remember that ESPN commercial? Sizzling bacon action, you know. He goes in for the touchdown. Fred Hawley had a huge game and making his Norta Vista debut tonight as they defeat Ramona 48-7. That's right, he put the topping on. Sizzling bacon action. So hashtag sizzling bacon action if you're counting at home. All right, let me find my rundown here. All right, now we're moving on to another River Valley League game. Moreno Valley taking on Harupa Valley, where our guy Ja Rule over here got the breast cancer awareness ribbon, so that's very cool. Ja wearing that tonight. So let's go out there. Harupa Valley High School. We had the Jaguars on the Blitz on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and roll those highlights. And that's Moreno Valley doing their haka dance before the game. Get all fired up for this one. And let's see if I can follow along in the shot sheet that Javier wrote for me here. Some of these highlights, I'm watching it, like everyone else for the first time, watching it at home. So that's Joshua Diaz, right? Returns it for the touchdown, 7-zip for Moreno Valley. Does that sound right, Ja? That sounds about right. Then later in the opening quarter, it's George Macho Camacho. Man, tough run there for Camacho. And then later, he's going to take this one all the way to the paint for a Supa Dupa Jurupa Valley touchdown, and that would tie the game at 7 apiece. This was all in the first quarter. Oh, the conversion. Don't forget about the conversion. And the Jaguars on the conversion for 2 points. They take the lead, 8-7. And then later we've got more from Moreno Valley. I have Sean Damon Moore running the ball, according to Jav. Was that Sean Damon 4? Is this Moore here? That's Moore right there. I need more. Is he coming up with more? Oh, there's more. I need more, and there he scores a touchdown. So that's good news, and that made it 13-8, right? 13-8. Moreno Valley on top. Then they scoop up that fumble there. So Moval recovers, and then Amos Murphy coming up with the touchdown for Moreno Valley. They get a 2-point conversion to tack on to this touchdown to make it 21-8. And Moreno Valley goes on to win by, here's the 2-point conversion, 43-15. Ja Rule loves the 2-point conversion. Is that right? You put them all in there. That's great. That's great news. All right. Now to the River Valley League scoreboard. Let's go to those scores from the River Valley League tonight. And there was just a couple because we had a Thursday night game. Norta Vista 48-7 over Ramona, in case you're just joining us. And the other one, Supa Dupa Jurupa Valley, dropping one to Moreno Valley, 43-15. All right, now to the Inland Valley League. Canyon Springs on the road at North. It was homecoming for the Huskies, so trying to get a big win in their brand new stadium on campus. Let's roll out there, Angel, to those highlights. Quarterback Joseph Garcia. I like to call him Broseph Garcia. Talking to the head coach, John Rice here. They were working with a 14-6 lead. Hey, it's the Rancho Verde in the house checking out the game. They did not play tonight, so they're watching some of their IVL opponents. Early in this one, how about some defense from the Cougars? That would be Jesus Noriega and Nick Como stuffing the run. And then more from the Canyon Springs defense. Garcia on the run. Quincy Wilson tracks him down, and he's got the sack. Now North is forced to punt. But Cougars would give the ball right back. They turn it over, and Robert Sanchez is the man on the spot and recovers for JW North. So the Huskies are looking to pad the lead before the break. Garcia calls his own number, and he's got the big gain. Brought down hard, though, and the Huskies marching down the field. That leads this. Darius Streets on the road to the end zone. Touchdown. North pushes its lead to 21-6. The Huskies defense going to keep it that way on homecoming. Aaron Owens, the nice tackle here for North on the stop. But Canyon Springs still cranking up that offense. About a minute to play in the half. Cody Cervantes lets it fly to Como. Nearly runs me over. But he's a good dude, so he didn't. I like Como. And that would set up this. They're in the red zone looking to get a touchdown before halftime. But North's defense would step up and turn the Cougars away from the 10-yard line. North goes on to win 36-20, the final score. All right, now we can go to the Inland Valley League scoreboard and get you caught up on the scores from Week 6. We did have that Inland Valley League game from Thursday night, so just a couple tonight. 36-20, North a winner against Canyon Springs. And one more from the IVL, Valley View over Vista Del Lago, 42-10. Now moving on to the Mountain Valley League, Citrus Valley taking on Jurupa Hills. This could be a playoff preview as it was last season. Two teams that are in the hunt for the league championship once again. Rim of the World obviously in that conversation as well at this point, but still a lot of football to be played. You can make a case for a lot of different teams in this league. Looks kind of wide open this season after Rim and Banning had great seasons and kind of ran away with it last season. All right, let's roll those highlights from Jurupa Hills. And they were excited to see Javier Cabrera at the game. Right, Jav? And they got the cool play signs. I need to get my face on one of those. Talkwitz, Jurupa Hills, anybody. Let's hook that up. All right, so early on, Daniel Narvaez catches the ball right in front of the HS Game Time camera. And then it's DJ Wright to Corday Roberts on the touchdown. And the Spartans go up 16-7 They got a really nice stadium out there. Then it's Citrus Valley back to punt, and Harupa Hills gets a safety out of it. So the Spartans go up 18-7 at that point. And then we've got some plays coming up. That's DJ Wright, the quarterback. He's one of my favorites. Heaves it up, and but Citrus Valley turns away that one. So we'll give DJ Wright another chance here. Another pass, and that one's not going anywhere. I'm not sure what those highlights were for, but that's okay. Omari Montgomery. Fourth and long, and they went for it? Okay, they went fourth and long. Speaking of long, hashtag runs, Omari Montgomery all the way for the touchdown. That made it 18-14. And I think I'm on track. And then this highlights someone scores, Javier tells me. Oh, man, you cracked me up, Javier. DJ Wright rolling out, nearly gets into the paint. And it might be Wright going in for the touchdown here on the keeper, maybe. We'll figure this out and get it straight for the Saturday scouting report, but I think that might have been right. So someone scores. Thanks, Ja. Okay, we're almost done here tonight. One last game to get to, Bloomington and Grand Terrace, in case you're just joining us. It was homecoming at Grand Terrace. And real quick story. So before the game started, it was it wasn't homecoming, it was up-and-coming night. But there was a lot of people there, the place was packed, and the announcer slipped and actually called the Grand Terrace team the Yellow Jackets. So they're actually the Titans, the Coltons, their big rival. So, but anyways, everyone laughed. It was no big deal. But let's go to the highlights. This is not the Yellow Jackets. This is the Titans, and that's my buddy, Big Joe Valadez. Grand Terrace taking on Bloomington. Bruins quarterback Derek Jones, state champion wrestler, telling me he has a herniated disc in his back. He's done for the season. He's got to get all healed up for wrestling, of course. He's a big-time grappler. Well, his replacement at quarterback, that would be Salvador Munoz. Big run there across midfield. Bloomington turns the ball over. The Titans would force the fumble, and Cameron Alvarez recovers for Grand Terrace. So the Titans with the ball, and Saul Ramirez coming up with the stop for Bloomington. So the Bruins are back in business on offense. Munoz to Marcus Jones. Check out this play. The ball tipped by Jones, stays with it for the touchdown. The Bruins were on the board 8-zip after the 2-point conversion. Great catch there by Jones for the touchdown. Now Grand Terrace wastes little time to answer. Quarterback Ralph Muhammad airs it out to Cruz Duke. Check out that shot. Bing, bang, bong. In for the score. And Cruz Duke having a big night as Bloomington on that touchdown. That would tie the game at 8 after Titans got a 2-point conversion as well. On the ensuing kickoff, Alvaro Torres recovers for Grand Terrace. So the Titans take over. They put this drive in cruise control. Cruz Duke, big run here. Valdez and the crew up front paving the way for Duke all night long. Set up another Duke touchdown as Grand Terrace goes on to the victory, 44-30. So nice win for the Titans on not homecoming night, but up and coming night. Good. Trex was studying and paying attention. Ja, what's the square root of 25 minus 14? Did you figure that out for me yet? All right. -9? I don't know. That's why I was asking him. So, anyways, that's the end of the show, right? This has been a weird, wild show, but thank you for watching tonight. Can we punch up the crew one more time so we give a shout-out to everyone? Angel, Javier, where's Drex? Drex straight out of the Wranglers ad with Brett Favre and his boy Dale Jr., Little Lee. Is Junior going to win the Sprint Cup title or what? NASCAR? Jimmy Johnson. And next week we'll try to get your boy Jacob Rogers on so you can do the discount double check again. So, all right, thanks for watching HS Game Time Live, Week 6, all the scores and highlights. We're expecting highlights from a couple more games, so please check back on Saturday on HS Game Time, and we'll have a complete roundup of all the highlights we got in the big Saturday Scouting Report. From everyone here at HS Game Time, we thank you so much for watching each and every Friday night, and we will do it again next Friday at 10:45. See you then.